Hi, my name is Alexandra and welcome to my studio. So it's official, Dragon Lore 2 Knit Along is announced. So that's the samples you see behind me. This one in fade, so you have two options to make one in fade, one in one color. And I have a solid color wearing right now. So Knit Along starts on March 7th. And let me just, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about what you need to know just to prepare yourself if you decide to join us in this new Dragon adventure, what you need to know to prepare yourself for March 7th. So right now, if you go to the links below this video, you will find the link to Ravelry. And this is it will take you to Dragon Lore 2 Knit Along, and the pattern will be available in full on March 7th. And right now, if you purchase it now, what you download is Knit Along information. So it's 9 pages, but it's mostly pictures. It's just information about Knit Along. But the reason you want to purchase it now is, first of all, you're going to get kind of more ready for March 7th. So you're going to get all your ducks in a row, get, beads and yarn and everything. And also the price will be different. It will change on March 7th. So now it's a little bit cheaper. So it's a good good time to buy, good time to get, enrolled in Knit Along. So you can download it now. So if you're wondering what is different between Dragon Lore 2 and Dragon Lore design that I published last year, here is a sample here, done in Le Bien-Aimé Sea Dragon fade. The difference is very simple, beads, nothing else. So this sample, this design doesn't have any beads. And if you want to make this pattern without beads, go ahead and you can purchase Dragon Lore pattern and join us anyway. For Knit Along and just work without beads. You don't have to use them. But if you want to challenge yourself for something a little bit more, you can see here, it's 3 beads per scale. So this piece is heavier, but it's got more texture and it's got more oomph, I think. And if you think it was kind of like, oh, she just added beads and, release it as a new design, it's not exactly how it worked. So it took actually months to finalize it. I also changed the wording of a pattern a lot. I tried to make it more user-friendly and kind of like, because I teach this class a lot, so I try to answer questions that you may have while working this pattern before you had it. So it took me, if you look at the file for I'm Dragon 2, Knit Along, like this pattern, I'm Dragon 2, it's that much work went to it. So yeah, it took months. So I think it's completely justified to release it as a new pattern. Okay, let's talk about yarn. So this sample here, I did with this gorgeous set of Le Bien-Aimé. This is a collaboration with this wonderful company. And this is Merino Decay. And this particular fade, they have quite a few fades, so you don't have to make it in this particular color. But this fade is called the Orchid fade, and I'm obsessed with it. It's so fresh and beautiful looking, and it just like, I don't know, it spoke to me. So you start right there at the bottom. And this color here. So this is A, B, C, D. And if you never worked my dragon shawls, faded dragon shawls, I want to tell you that I write the fade into the pattern. So you don't have to follow my formula or your own formula. You don't have to guess where you have to introduce new color. You just follow along. And I also printed new color in different print color print in a pattern. So I think it's easier to follow. And it also kind of like you don't have to guess. And the reason I am not suggesting to use any, maybe you have your favorite, fade formula. The reason it doesn't work for this design because it's extremely textured. And if you start introducing new color on a certain line, it may be actually covered because it's like three-dimensional and you may not even see it. So that's why it took many hours to figure out where to place exactly new color, different colors, so it would make the most of it. So that's why. And also I had to calculate amount of beads because on each color it goes different number of beads. So it was quite a lot of work, but fun. So hopefully you will find it fun and kind of like exciting as I do. So this is for fade, okay? And this yarn, I'll link it below, is available on Le Bien Amy website, and they sell out fast. So don't think too long if you like this color or any other colors. But if it is sold out, don't be discouraged. There is a button there. It says notify me. So you just click the button and you will be first to know when they do restocking. And they actually really good at restocking. They do it pretty fast. So you usually don't have to wait too long. And the only way for them to know that you're waiting for this particular yarn is actually when you click this button. So I do recommend use it. So the Orchid Fade, linked below. And for this sample, I linked it as well. This is beautiful, beautiful gray, dark gray with a beautiful sparks of blue, and it's Sailor Mercury. I picked this because it's just, first of all, you can still see this texture. It's almost neutral, but not boring at all. And I love the specks of blue color because it makes it very nice and fresh. So 4 skeins as well of this. And of course, you can go with any color of Le Bien-Aimé or whatever you decide to use. You just need 4 skeins of decay. All right. So next, needles. So here I have, just for this, because I make so many samples, I have a separate sets of Chiago needles. That's the only needles I use. And what you need is US3 24 or 32-inch long. You need US3 47. You can do 40, but if you don't have 47, I do suggest 47. And US1 47. So you start with this shorter, larger needle. And then when stitches no longer, because you work from the bottom up, so when they no longer fit on the cable, you switch to a longer, larger needle. And you need this US1 right here, just for the top, because we only need this to do this top so it's nicely finished like a border, which is firm. It has only practical applications, nothing else. There is no beauty in it. But of course, still, it looks very nice and clean. So 3, 3, 1. And the reason why I'm using such a small needles, if you're wondering, for decay weight yarn, is because the stitches needs to be very firm. So think of sock knitting. So that's your answer. That's why, because otherwise it's not going to be 3-dimensional quality. Another thing I want to mention about the yarn. So if you decide to go with a different type of yarn, not what I suggested, I don't recommend to use cotton, silk, alpaca, cashmere, all those luxury beautiful yarns. They kind of like are missing one quality. They're not very stretchy. So what you need to look for is a bouncy good stretchy yarn. And because what a cashmere or silk does, when it added even in a small percentage to the yarn, it relaxes this. And it's hard for them, for the fiber then to maintain like a very firm quality. So it's beautiful. It could be perfect for something else, but not for this design. So the best is to go with just merino or merino nylon. So that would be your best bet. And so you don't have to then, like, you just can knit it without like worrying that it's not going to keep three-dimensional shape. So next, so I talked to you about yarn and then beads. Beads are very important here. So I suggested certain colors. So it's all linked here and here, you know, like below in the pattern. It's all there. But I want to talk to you shortly about the quality of beads. So you need size 6, and usually size 6 we use for fingering weight yarn. It's the most common beads for knitting, size 6. But I experimented a lot with size 5 because traditionally, if we're using DK or worsted, we move to upper, like a larger size bead, and size 5. So I still suggest to use size 6 because we place beads on a yarn prior to work. There is no way around it. And I talk a lot about it in my classes, so I don't want to take too much space to talk about it now, but that's what you need to do. You have to place it on a bead. So like size 6 perfectly goes on DK. It doesn't need anything bigger, and it's visible, it looks beautiful. If I use anything larger than that, number one, it has to be way more beads, and just to purchase way more grams of beads, and I did not calculate that. So if you decided to go with a different size of beads, you kind of on your own. So, and how many grams, because I'll tell you how many pieces, but not how many grams. And it's gonna make, if you're using larger beads, it's gonna make your piece really heavy. So for those shawls, I used 80 grams of, glass beads. And so your shawl, the difference between this one, Dragon Lore, and Dragon Lore 2, it would be 80 grams heavier. So if you're going with a larger size beads, it's going to make it way more heavy and maybe too heavier. So go with size 6. That's the best kind of solution. Again, because I did so much prep for that. So I did the work. So you don't have to guess. All right. And another thing I do suggest is to buy very high quality beads. And I use Miyuki, or you can use any Japanese brand. The reason I'm using that and not the check beads, because they're very consistent in the size and openings. So if you are purchasing check beads, which are way more wildly available, they are not consistent in size and openings, and you will be rejecting like maybe 25% out of each package. So which is a lot. And if you're using Japanese beads, you're going to use probably like 99 or 100% of each package, which is important. So I'll tell you in the pattern how many pieces to place on each yarn, or as a more simple solution. And I'm kind of like, it's in the pattern too, just a little suggestion and note. So you have 4 skeins of yarn. And usually when you purchase them online, the beads, and I put a link in my pattern where I got them. So you need 4 tubes of 20 gram each. So if you don't want to count beads, you can simply put 1 tube on each color. So this way it's extra. You will have extra string there, but this way you don't have to count exact amount. So you're not, so if you're afraid you're going to make a mistake, so just put a 20 gram on each skein. And the same for this one. as well. So those are beads. So good quality beads is the key. Do not use wooden beads because they're not sanded inside. And if you place them and constantly moving them on the yarn, they may damage the yarn. And another thing, if you are afraid that by placing on the yarn and moving them up and down, you will kind of like damage the yarn. All those samples done with in this technique, there is no issue at all. So don't worry about this, okay? Another thing is a tassel. So you see those beautiful tassels right here, and I'll show you one. So here's a silver, here's a more purple. And the tassel is actually, there's a tassel photo tutorial and video tutorial on YouTube, how to make it. And I use the same, so I designed it, kind of Renaissance floral pattern. And it's surprisingly very easy to do. It's not a piece of cake type of project, but that's like, before I start doing those tassels for my shawls, I never worked with leather. So all you need for this, and it goes, I'll go with it like in my information about this pattern. You can buy vegan real leather, widely available. And all you need is sharp scissors, you need ruler, marker, and clear glue. That's it. So here you can see there is a stitching, like those two pieces are stitched together, and I did it on a sewing machine. And I don't have a special sewing machine, just a good quality, like Viking sewing machine. But you don't have to do it. So what you can do, you just can glue those two pieces together. So this is optional. And so those are the purple one. It's so much fun. And I have to say, if they have a metallic finish, they look better. So you can do whatever you want. And I found like a matching, like it's embroidery thread. And I stitched those two pieces here. And then you create the tassel. It's all in a photo and video tutorial on a like another yarn or a leather piece, and you just glue it on the top. But if you you can purchase your own tassels online, or you can make it out of yarn because you're gonna have a yarn left over. You can do this, but this adds so much fun. It's just like takes your piece in a different level. So you have wool, you have leather, you have glass beads. It's just so many textures, and I think it makes it way more couture, like a very unique, artful, like a art piece. So another tool you need, so this is, again, it's up to you if you want to challenge yourself, but video and photo tutorial is in a pattern. I do suggest for you to place beads. I forgot to say, to purchase bead needle. Doesn't matter what kind, it's just easier to apply beads. You need stitch markers, those are very important, and you need those magnetic snaps. So those magnetic snaps you can get anywhere, and I'll tell exactly the size you need. And the reason why we do that, because we can play around with this design, and you can see the pictures on Ravelry, how to wear it, but they just make it fun and easy, and you don't have to put a buttonhole or a button. So that's about those type of accessories. And also what I wanted to mention is the pattern itself. So the pattern will be on the March 7, I will release two patterns, one in fade, one in one color. And I do it intentionally, two separate files, because it's just easy to follow. So if I would release just a fade one and you would work in one color, of course you have to ignore all the color coordination there and highlights and so on. So I just skip all that and you have a separate file just for one color. I think it's just easier. So that's on March 7th. It would be released in full, so it wouldn't be like in portions. And knit along itself, it doesn't have I don't want to put any deadlines. So it's fun to start all together, but then you just work on your own speed and just kind of like, so whatever you want, how long you want, some people knit very fast, some people don't. So I don't want to pressure anybody to have a deadline. So we have a Ravelry group. I'll link below. So we have a separate thread for this design. So join in. So because people will be sharing questions and, like suggestions, and you will see all the different yarns. It's just so much fun. And it's just for fun. It's just very easy, very friendly group of people. And also tag me on Instagram, so I can see your yarn, and like if you're ready for the knit along, that would be fun. And another thing that I'm gonna do, sign up for my newsletter and on my website, because I will be sending links to the Zoom kickoff party, like a custom party, which is going to happen on Thursday, March 7th. And most probably I'm going to do what I did last year for Dragon Lore knit along release, because what we did 2 parties in one day, because there's a lot of people in Europe interested in this knitting this knit along. So I'm gonna do 2 times Zoom, twice a day, one in noon Central Time, US Central Time, which is more which is evening in Europe. So if you that so, or you can, whatever is more comfortable for you. So noon and 6 p.m. So that's what I'm going to do, but I don't have those Zoom links yet. So they will be released in the week of a pattern released. So just easiest way to kind of like follow it is to sign up for my newsletter, and I'll share it. Okay, so I think that's pretty much right now is all I can think of. And ask me questions below. Shoot me email. There's I place my email as well. That's the easiest way to contact me. And please join us in this another beautiful dragon adventure. I'm so excited about this, and it will be fun. So we'll see you soon. Bye.